Wow, I bet Pastor Michael doesn't know this stuff about Martin Luther. Many years ago, there lived a young man named Martin Luther. Young Martin was studying to be a lawyer, but one day he got caught in a terrible storm. He was so afraid that he promised God he would become a monk. If he escaped the storm died down, and Martin Luther kept his promise. Oh, nice.
Michael, it's time to start filming.
Oh, is it? Oh, I'm just reading my Martin Luther book here.
What's our camera guy doing?
Uh,
We're live, man. Come on. Oh, boy.
Well, Michael, I'm glad you're getting into it. That's pretty cool. Well, one thing that I know about Martin Luther is that grace, gift, was the center of everything for him. He just saw how God's love comes to us as a gift. It embraces us freely. If there was one thing that he wouldn't give up, it would be that. And our story tonight, our gospel story tonight, I think captures that. We're in the middle of Holy Week now. We've journeyed so far through the story of Mary in Bethany pouring out a gift of love through perfume, anointing Jesus' feet. We've talked about the Greeks who came looking for Jesus after he entered into Jerusalem and how it signaled to him that his time had come. And tonight, the story takes us to that night when he's gathered with his disciples. We'll be celebrating that story in its fullness tomorrow evening on Maundy Thursday. But this piece of it takes place after the meal. Now, Jesus had washed his disciples' feet and they'd eaten together, and Jesus had been talking to them, teaching them about what he had shared with them and how they were to continue to share that same gift of love for one another. And then he said this. He said he was deeply troubled. And then he turned to his disciples and said, I tell you for certain that one of you will betray me. They were confused about what he meant. And they just stared at each other. You can probably imagine that. You know, they've been sharing this meal, this rich, deep expression of love as Jesus washes their feet and teaches them again. And then all of a sudden he says to them, one of you will betray me. One of his closest disciples was sitting right next to him, and so Simon Peter signaled to him to ask Jesus, who are you talking about? Everybody's wondering. They're confused. They're just kind of taken by total surprise. And Jesus kind of privately says to them, he's dipping bread into a bowl, into some sauce maybe. And he says, whoever I give this bread to, that's the one. And he hands it to Judas. And just think about that. He washed the disciples' feet. He's been sharing this meal with them. And Judas has been a part of all of that. And yet Jesus knows not only that one of them will betray him, but that it's Judas. And so he sends him out, urging him to do what he has to do. And the other disciples, in all their confusion, as they're talking with each other about who this could be and what's happening, think that Jesus has sent Judas out on some kind of a task. He was the treasurer of their group. Maybe he was supposed to go give some money to the poor or take care of some kind of business. This story brings home to us the struggle that we have with our own sin. The fact that sometimes we do things that break our relationships horribly. Sometimes we know it and we do it intentionally, Other times it kind of happens without our conscious awareness, and then we look back and wonder, how did that happen? How did I do that? I don't know. I don't know how it was for Judas. But Jesus loved all of them to the end. He washed all of their feet. He welcomed all of them to the meal. His love didn't depend upon how they responded, whether they loved him back fully or whether they denied him in the critical moment or even betrayed him and gave him over to those who would kill him. His love just poured out to all of them. That's what grace is. That's what Martin Luther was talking about. That gift of grace. So in this week of Holy Week, we encounter that gift that pours over us, that surrounds us, that fills us, that supports us. At the same time, I think we're challenged to recognize those ways in which we get caught up in sin, in desires or fears that drive our behavior in ways that cause us to hurt one another, sometimes in horrible ways. One of the other readings for this day comes from the letter of the Hebrews. And in the letter, the writer's been recounting all of the heroes of faith from the Old Testament. And he concludes by saying, such a large crowd of witnesses is all around us. So we must get rid of everything that slows us down, especially the sin that just won't let go. And we must be determined to run the race that is ahead of us. We must keep our eyes on Jesus, who leads us and makes our faith complete. He endured the shame of being nailed to a cross because he knew that later on he would be glad he did. Now he is seated at the right hand of God's throne. So keep your mind on Jesus, who put up with many insults from sinners. Then you won't get discouraged and give up. It's a challenge to fight through our fears, to fight through our desires, to come to a place where we are, that we're free of that. In fact, if we had to do it on our own, we couldn't. But that love that's been poured out, that's been gifted to us in this Holy Week, through the example of Jesus' self-giving, his suffering, his dying, and his rising again, strengthened by that gift, we are empowered to do what we couldn't do, to live in faith, to continue in hope, to give ourselves in the same love to one another as we have received from God through Jesus. So, keep your eyes on Jesus. Follow him through this week. And recognize, just pay attention to where that sin pulls at you, constricts you, holds you back. I like that image of letting it all go, casting that away so that we're free to run the race that we've been given. Well, we need to take these things into prayer. There's a lot to pray about. And again tonight, as we pray, we want to sing together this refrain, hear our prayer, Lord, make us whole. So let's sing it through one time together before we begin, and then we'll repeat it after each of our petitions. Hear our prayer, Lord, make us whole. Peace to all people, hope for each soul. God of grace, in this place, hear now our prayer. To begin today, we remember those who will be alone on Easter. asking if they would not be lonely but feel the light and love of the risen Christ, and that we would be inspired to reach out and call those we know who will be alone this weekend. We lift this up to God. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, Lord, make us whole. Peace to all people, hope for each soul. God of grace, in this place, hear now our prayer. I think most of us right now are feeling mentally and emotionally stressed at some level. But we lift up tonight those especially who were already struggling with depression or anxiety or some other mental health issue. Asking that they would find ways to stay socially connected even while physically distancing, and that the light of Christ may shine through this darkness. We offer this to God's mercy. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, Lord, make us whole. Peace to all people, hope for each soul. God of grace, in this place, hear now our prayer. Next, we remember our leaders in public office and those who work in public health, praying that transparent sharing of wisdom and knowledge and resources in response to the pandemic would build trust and strengthen collaboration in service to the health and the unity of our nation. We ask this of God's mercy. Hear our prayer, Lord, make us whole. Peace to all people, hope for each soul. God of grace, in this place, hear now our prayer. For all who are sick, those in the hospital, families who are grieving, and those who are dying, let us surround them with our presence, our compassion, and our prayers for healing. Hear our prayer, Lord, make us whole. Peace to all people, hope for each soul. God of grace, in this place, hear now our prayer. Finally, prayer and thanksgiving for all the faithful witnesses who surround us, that their perseverance in love and hope will give us courage to stay on the path and run our race as we follow after Jesus. We ask this of God's mercy. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, Lord, make us whole. Peace to all people, hope for each soul. God of grace, in this place, All of these things and everything else that we need, we put into God's hands. That God's peace may fill us and strengthen us to continue on the way. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Well, we have a storyteller tonight that we haven't heard from yet. Let's hear a great news story by Ben and Marty.
Well, hello there, everybody. It's so great to be with you here tonight. So Marty and I were just chatting about something that I think even our young seminarian here might not know. And that is 500 years ago during the Reformation, a lot of Marty's buddies were really happy about just doing away with Easter and no longer having Easter at Christmas. But Martin Luther said, no, we need to have Easter. We need to have special Sundays where we can gather together as friends. So tonight I'd like to talk a little bit about one of my friends growing up was Clifford, the big red dog. Do you know Clifford? Maybe you have a few books by him. Or maybe your mom and dad might have some. He's been around a while, so perhaps even your grandma and grandpa. Anyhow, this is one of my favorites. And it talks about the day that's coming up here on Sunday, which is Easter. Hi, I'm Emily Elizabeth, and I love spring. So does my dog, Clifford. The best part of springtime is Easter. Last spring, Mom and Dad bought us a lot of eggs to color for the big Easter egg hunt. Look at all those eggs. Oh my goodness. On the day before Easter, I dyed the eggs. Clifford wanted to help. Poor Clifford. He wasn't very good at painting eggs. Oh my goodness, his paws are a little big, aren't they?
Large.
Yeah. So, Clifford helped by watching me decorate the eggs. He is a good watcher.
Good restraint.
That's a lot of eggs. When I went to bed that night, I fell asleep dreaming about Easter eggs. It was a beautiful dream. Clifford was stirring a giant tub of dye while I tossed in the eggs. But then Clifford lost his balance.
Oh no.
He tumbled into the tub of dye.
Oh no.
Something surprising began to happen. Suddenly, Clifford was bright green. It was just like St. Patrick's Day. Oh dear. Then he turned sunshine yellow. This was becoming a very strange dream. I grabbed a brush and began to dab on purple polka dots. Clifford looked good in polka dots, but they didn't last long. The purple dots turned into squares, and Clifford looked like a giant checkerboard. I didn't like that. I threw on some more dye. Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
What a mess. Oh wow. Clifford started to change colors again. Now he was red, white, and blue. What does that look like, boys and girls? I always used to wonder if I dreamed in color. Now I know. This was too much. Oh dear. Look what happens when you mix all the colors together. I tried to scrub the dye off Clifford. I was getting frantic, and then I woke up. It was Easter morning, and the sun was shining. I ran out to see Clifford. Thank goodness, he looked just the same as always. Good old Clifford. We joined my friends and set off on the Easter egg hunt. We looked high. We looked low. Clifford looked at places I would not have thought of. No hiding place was missed. Sometimes Clifford went a little too far. His hard work helped. We ended up with heaps of eggs. Just look at all those eggs. Which we shared with our friends. After all, friends are what make Easter a happy day. The end. You know, boys and girls, it is true that friends make Easter a really special, special day. And I want you to know that no matter where you are, if you're alone or if you're missing your friends, there's someone, an extra special friend that you can always count on to be by you. We've heard a lot about friends tonight. Some of Jesus' friends. Some betrayed him. Some stood as a cloud of witnesses, right? Helping and urging on his friends and disciples. So I want you to know that you have a very special friend out there, even if you're all alone. And that friend is Jesus. And you know what? I think there's a song that we can sing about that. What do you think, Dan?
I think there is. Yes, definitely.
Let's do it.
Let's all sing What a Friend We Have in Jesus.
Here we go. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless gain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. And we find a friend so faithful, who will all our sorrows share. Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Are we weak and heavy laden? Come with the load of care. Precious Savior, still our refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do your friends despise and forsake you? Take it to the Lord in prayer. In his arms he'll take and shield you. You will find the solace there.
Well, that was fun.
It was.
Our next song we're going to sing is reminding us that goodness always trumps evil. Goodness is always stronger than evil. And no matter what we're going through, goodness will always prevail. So let's sing together, Goodness is Stronger Than Evil. Goodness is stronger than evil.
is stronger than hate. Light is stronger than darkness. Life is stronger than death. Victory is ours. Victory is ours. Through God who loves us. Victory is ours. Victory is ours. Through God who loves us.
Victory is ours through the God who loves us. Goodness, stronger than evil. Light, stronger than darkness. Life, stronger than death. It's a good word for us right now as we get sometimes fearful that, like, when will this end? What will the future look like? How will our life and our world be changed by this pandemic? Sometimes that can weigh down on us. The light is stronger than the darkness. And the promise of this whole week is that life is more powerful than death. And so Jesus, even when facing the betrayal by a good friend, continues to look to that life and to that light. And we have surrounding us the witnesses of the past and the friends of the present who encourage us and strengthen us to continue on the way, to be honest with ourselves about our fears and about the things that drag us down, and then to give those over to the God who is stronger than all it, whose love and grace keep us rooted. So with that, we sing again the chant that calls us back to that place of center. Changeless and calm, deep mystery, evermore deeply rooted in thee. Changeless and calm, deep mystery, evermore deeply rooted in thee. Changeless and calm, deep mystery, evermore deeply rooted in thee. Beginning tomorrow, we come to the deepest part of the Mystery Holy Week as we celebrate Maundy, Thursday, and then Good Friday, and then wait until the Sunday celebration of Easter. I sent out an email to the members of First Lutheran Church today with an outline for a way to experience Thursday at home, to tell that story of Jesus' last meal with his disciples, including the foot washing, and a home version of our stripping of the altar, which is usually the conclusion of that Thursday night service when we're gathered together. So if you haven't checked your email yet, I invite you to do that and think about using that when you gather for your supper meal tomorrow night. We will also be live streaming our worship service here from First Lutheran Church at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Thursday of Holy Week, and again for Good Friday at 7 o'clock. And then on Sunday morning, we'll be together at 8:15 and 10:15 out in the parking lot for our outdoor service in the cars. And we will also be live streaming at 10:15, or not live streaming, we'll have a pre-recorded service at 10:15 on Sunday morning. So there will be plenty of opportunities for us to connect in and rest deeply in the heart of this mystery. As Jesus leaves behind everything that would hold him back, and leans in to the gift of God's love that is present even in the deepest darkness, even in the face of death. May you rest tonight in the power of that promise, and may you rise tomorrow encouraged and strong by the faith that surrounds you.